Two teams that know one another extremely well. Two teams going in different directions. Tonight in Fort Lauderdale, the hosts looking for just their second win in their last 7, while Toronto 2 seeking a third consecutive victory. It's Fort Lauderdale and Toronto FC 2 for the third time in 10 days. USL League 1 on this Saturday night. Ken Levicka with you from Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. There are no secrets between these two squads. Again, their third matchup in the last week and a half. Josh Penn, the ultra-talented Fort Lauderdale forward, he scored the opening goal of an eventual Toronto 2-1 victory just 7 days ago. You see the rebound given up and the tap in there for Josh Penn, the 10th overall pick by Inter Miami in the 2021 MLS Super Draft. Then on the other end, the man who's going to be trying to knock away Penn shots tonight, Andreas Vikla for Toronto 2. He was spectacular with 7 saves in a 3-1 win over Tormenta Wednesday night. Had spent the previous 2 weeks with the first division club, Toronto FC, and it showed. Vikla opportunistic. He was long, and he was prominent in goal. He was able to withstand a first-half charge from Tormenta and then allowed the Toronto 2 attack to get back into the match in that victory on Wednesday night. Fort Lauderdale, Toronto FC 2 on a Saturday night in South Florida on ESPN+. We welcome you back to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Toronto FC 2, the two squads that currently sit 5-6 in the USL League 1 table. Let's go to the starting 11s here tonight, and for Darren Powell's Fort Lauderdale side, 5 new members of the starting 11 compared to what they trotted out 7 days ago against Toronto 2, including Dylan Castanera back in goal for only the 3rd time this season for Fort Lauderdale. For Toronto 2, no Jaden Nelson, Jake Singer, Ralph Priso. They're with Toronto FC tonight. A match against Cincinnati. Garrett McLaughlin back up top alongside Julian Altobelli in a 4-4-2. Available tonight as a sub. Shan Hundal available as a sub. The man who leads Fort Lauderdale in goal scoring this season. He will come off the bench for Darren Powell. Well, as we mentioned, 5 new in the starting 11. Edison Oscana is new in the midfield, as is George Acosta. Ami Mabika along the back four, Jason Bucknor in the back four, and then the goalkeeper tonight, Dylan Castanera. Toronto 2 last Saturday. Kickoff temperature 84 degrees in always humid South Florida, at least in the month of June. Toronto 2 picking up that 3-1 victory. A very impressive second half against Tormenta. An absolutely superb second half after the attack was quiet. Toronto 2 went with a 3-5-2 against Tormenta to try and offset that South Georgia side and the success they had seen playing 5 in the back in the previous 4 matches. And Toronto 2 was able to go and finally pick apart that 5-man back line and end a 4-game winning streak for Tormenta, and now puts itself in a position tonight to have a 3rd straight victory for the first time in Toronto 2 history. And it's time for football in South Florida. Fort Lauderdale CF and Toronto FC 2 here on ESPN Plus. Glad you're with us. I'm Ken Levicka, Brian Sevilla, executive producer, and his entire staff. Hang tight with us for 90 plus, however long it takes, and what has been a goal-scoring fest in this season series between these two sides. Fort Lauderdale in their home black shirts, Toronto 2 in the road whites. These two squads have combined to score 7 goals in their previous 2 meetings. It was last Wednesday, the 16th, these two teams played to a 2-2 draw, and then Toronto 2, a 2-1 victory over Fort Lauderdale last Saturday. Fort Lauderdale struck quick in that match with Josh Penn, scored on a rebound in the 4th minute. But then Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, a goal in the 14th minute. Julian Altabelli in the 20th minute. And now we have the trilogy, the conclusion of this short-range trilogy here tonight. And there you get a good look at Niall Higgins. Higgins, who came in as a substitute in the 3-1 win over Tormenta on Wednesday night. Toronto 2 has found the goal-scoring touch as of late. They have 7 goals in their last 3 matches after suffering back-to-back 1-0 losses to Tormenta. Here's a play to the top of the 6-yard box. It was cleared away by Ethan Harden, wearing the captain's armband tonight, the 18-year-old Englishman for Fort Lauderdale, and some early pressure from Toronto 2. And anybody who saw Toronto 2 play on Wednesday knows that already we have seen more pressure on goal in the opening 2 minutes of this one than we saw in the opening 49 or 50 minutes before things open up for Toronto 2 against Tormenta. More pressure here potentially. Marshall-Ruddy, goal scorer in that affair 7 days ago. And there you see an opening touch for Stephen Yates out of the Toronto 2 midfield, making his 4th start for Toronto 2. Toronto 2 in a 4-4-2 tonight. There's Luca Petrasso. Petrasso able to maneuver out of trouble, finds Yates. Feeds it to the top of the area, dispossessed though, and here's Ethan Harden. Can Fort Lauderdale hit on the counter? Harden has Evans to his right and said sprays it to the left for Curry. Curry on his right foot. Can Curry get a shot off? Plays it through to Harden, and the flag is up offside. Harden not quite able to keep himself on, and it might have been Niall Higgins at the last moment playing a high line, and indeed Harden was off, and it actually appears as if Harden was off by a couple of steps. Not as tight as I thought it was initially in real time, with Harden trying to make that horizontal run. Good idea, execution not quite there. Back on the 16th, this was the first meeting between these two clubs that Wednesday night. It was Evans getting the scoring started for Fort Lauderdale before things were even up by McLaughlin, who's back in the starting 11 tonight for Toronto after coming in as a sub against Tormenta. Here's a giveaway in the back. What can Toronto 2 do off the turnover? McLaughlin. It's delivered to Yates. Pushed off to the right, bad touch, and cleared away by Fort Lauderdale. Now Venton Evans is off to the races. This is a 2-on-1, but a bad ball. Played it behind Penn, who had to recover. That looked promising for Fort Lauderdale, but Evans' pass was woefully behind Penn, who was full steam ahead. Talking with Darren Powell, first-year head man for Fort Lauderdale, about Evans earlier this week, said that he's coming along. He's maturing. The 23-year-old Jamaican has a lot of speed, has a lot of ability. Technically, he's getting there. Evans, 4 goals this season for Fort Lauderdale. And it was Mike Munoz, head man for Toronto 2, who earlier this week said when Evans and Penn are coming at you full force, that's when Fort Lauderdale is at their best. That was the scenario, and Toronto 2 survives that first situation involving Penn and Evans. That's out of play. Noah Allen not happy with himself, and Toronto 2 will have a throw-in. Darren Powell, who was with the Inter-Miami organization last year, as their director of player personnel, took over the reins of this USL League One club here for 2021. Here's Toronto 2, played into the area. Harden's going to launch this back towards the midfield. Was corralled there by Yates, and then knocked out of play off a deflection for a Toronto 2 throw. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit Visit SelectSportAmerica.com. That's SelectSportAmerica.com. Across, knocked away. And now Fort Lauderdale tries to settle. Toronto 2 has looked much more assertive on the attack than they did in the opening half against Tormenta. But this match looks very much like the previous 2 between these two sides. And here's a push in the back. And McLaughlin draws the ire of our referee tonight, John Mato, and collects our first foul of the match. Here's Noah Allen on the left side. Good ball forward. Evans collects. Evans tries to make a 1v1 move, instead defers with a back pass in this attacking half. And Acosta will send it back to Harden. Fort Lauderdale trying to reshape the attack. Fort Lauderdale only 1 victory in their last 6. All of that coming off of what was a 5-1 drubbing of Tucson in what was certainly the best performance of the year for Fort Lauderdale, but they have not followed it up with many positives. The only victory in that span, a 2-1 triumph over the team at the bottom of the table, North Carolina. Good battle in the back for that ball. McLaughlin was trying to get around Mabika, but Mabika able to win possession back for Fort Lauderdale. Mabika making his 3rd start of the year. The 22-year-old out of Zambia for this Fort Lauderdale side. Perhaps something to pay attention to tonight is the turf here at Drive Pink Stadium. This played host to Inter Miami and Orlando City in the Sunshine State Derby last night, won by Orlando City 2-1. Here's a left-footed shot back of the net for Lauderdale. Josh Penn has done it to Toronto 2 again. 7 days ago, he scored in the 4th minute. Tonight, it's the 9th minute. Fort Lauderdale 1, Toronto 2-0. Penn simply blew right by Petrasso, had an opening, and delivers a low left-footed strike inside the far post. For Penn, that's his 2nd goal of the campaign. And Toronto, too, is off on the front foot, but Fort Lauderdale is up on the score line. So now Toronto 2 will have to play from behind once again. For the 3rd time against Fort Lauderdale, it'll be Toronto 2 trailing and unable to score first. Josh Penn, taken 10th overall by Inter Miami in the 2021 MLS Super Draft, has made 2 appearances for the top side here in 2021. This after a single season collegiately at Indiana, 7 appearances over 2 seasons for Indy 11. And he became their youngest player to ever sign with Indy 11 out of that academy. He is a good player, and you saw it there. Calm, collected, great with the ball, and knows what to do with it. And he has his 2nd goal of the year. Toronto 2 trying to match. Here's a cross. Found nobody. It'll be collected by Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy pushes it back outside the 18. Left-footed curler just over the bar. A spectacular attempt from Rohan Goldburn, and that was not far off. Certainly Dylan Castanero was thinking about it. Goldburn curling that over the bar. Here you get a look at the Canadian. Goldburn making his 6th start for Toronto 2 this season. A Toronto FC Academy man. Debuted back on May 22nd against North Texas. Fort Lauderdale 1, Toronto 2-0. Thanks to Josh Penn scoring in the 9th minute. Fort Lauderdale with 12 matches in hand. That is tied with Tormenta for the most games played of any team in USL League One. The staggered starts for these teams this season. Meanwhile, Toronto FC 2, they've played 10 matches, and it has been a grueling pace for them. Long pass, left foot. Can Evans get a good touch? The answer is yes. He collects in the near corner. Evans turns. Nifty here from the Jamaican. And then pops it up to Allen. And Allen plays it back to Evans. Works in a bit of space. Good recovery from the Toronto 2 defense. Mabika. And this is delivered to the far side. Penn on the ball, dispossessed. Petrasso able to win that battle after he was the defender in question on the Penn goal. Nice turn. Good individual skill from Azcona. Now Allen pushing from his left back position. Allen, left-footed cross. It's headed down, misplay. This will go for a corner for Fort Lauderdale. Niall Higgins would have liked to have done better with that one. And we'll have our first corner of the match. There you see the cross. Higgins looked like he hesitated a bit, and he's lucky because there were 2 runners coming in behind him. It's going to be Allen to deliver a left-footed in-swinger here for Fort Lauderdale. Allen, fresh-faced youngster, playing right back tonight for Fort Lauderdale, and he swings this in. And McLaughlin will send this into the tri-colored seats for a Fort Lauderdale throw-in. Heavy touch, blocked away. McLaughlin plays it forward. Can Toronto 2 get off on the run? And then it's won right back by Fort Lauderdale. Acosta, who then had a high elbow. And right there to see it was John Mato. A rare foul by a player on the ball. Acosta went up high on Yates. Mato's talking with him now, saying you got to keep the elbows down. Fort Lauderdale right now 5th in the table, 14 points, despite the fact they are just 1-6 in their last 7. For a while sat top of the table here in USL League One. That's currently occupied by Union Omaha. Toronto FC, meanwhile, that was a massive 3 points against Tormenta. Now 13 in the table and 6th in the standings. Marshall Ruddy coming up the right side. Toronto 2 pushing for an equalizer. He'll push a left-footed cross, far post, headed out of play for a corner. Toronto 2 asking some questions. Toronto 2 just looks much more comfortable offensively in this 4-4-2 as opposed to the 3-5-2 that they played Wednesday night. Ultimately, that did yield results, but the floodgates opened after a Jake Singh free kick masterpiece, and then things started to open up a bit. Marshall Ruddy will deliver the corner. Had a goal and assist against Fort Lauderdale last week. Marshall Ruddy looks in as his attackers organize. And it'll be a short corner. Now it's fired in. A header, loose in the area, and then blasted away. Doing the honors was Iscona. But retaining to the attacking half. Here's Petrasso. A turn, and Mabika cleans that up. Launches it deep. On the run, Mitchell Curry. Mitchell Curry gets it to his right foot. Can he unleash a shot? No. Well done by Goldberg to get back. Now Toronto FC 2 saunters back into the midfield. Now they'll slow it down. Well, based on what we've seen the first 2 matches between these clubs, the first goal doesn't mean a whole lot. This is delivered into the box. This will roll out of play. What's the verdict? This will be a goal kick. Last off of Themi and Tonoglu. And there you see Dylan Castanera, 25-year-old goalkeeper. Was with Fort Lauderdale last year. 11 appearances, 11 starts, made 44 saves, gave up 20 goals. This is 3rd match this season, 16 saves. He has allowed 2 goals. And he has spent time with Inter Miami. In fact, he was active last night for Inter Miami against Orlando City. He was selected 4th round 2019 MLS Super Draft by FC Dallas. Coming out of the back, here's Higgins, gives it up to Goldberg. That pass blocked away, foot race for it. Possession kept by Toronto 2. A very active Stephen Yates tonight, plays it back. Making his way into the area, but having it knocked away was Petrasso. 2 or 3 touches too many, but Toronto 2 doing well to keep it in the attacking half. This is Crisp on the attack for Toronto 2. They're getting in deep against this Fort Lauderdale defense, but unable to unleash a shot as of yet. Goldburn. Goldburn has the only shot tonight for Toronto 2. A little miscommunication with Petrasso. And Castanera will scoop it up and end that. Opportunity for Toronto, too. Nice distribution with the right foot here to Evans. Can Evans win the foot race? He's against Goldberg. Evans blows by him. Fenton Evans tried to play it back. Knocked out of play. Corner coming. Evans had his trailer coming, and it was coming in the form of Edison Azcona. Who's going to handle this corner here for Fort Lauderdale. And you see how dangerous Evans is in those 1v1 situations. It'll be George Acosta to do the duty. On loan from Inter Miami is Acosta. This is his 11th appearance this season for Fort Lauderdale. 20th minute, 1-0 Fort Lauderdale on top. The corner's delivered, back post, headed away. Now at the top of the 18, an errant shot. And that was well off the mark. Harvey Neville decided to give it a go. Ambitious and well wide. Here you'll see this headed away, and Neville comes on late and chunks it wide left. Harvey Neville, the son of, as Darren Powell calls him, the Inter Miami gaffer, Phil Neville, was part of Manchester United youth and was with the Ireland U19. Now playing within his father's program here in South Florida. Drive Pink Stadium right now, the home of Inter Miami as well. Still being called the temporary home. There have been holdups in Miami-Dade County with plans to build a permanent stadium for Inter Miami. So for now, this is where Inter Miami has played its home. This is where they will train if they do head down to Miami-Dade at some point. Training facility first class, as is this playing facility as well. That is indeed the intended home for Fort Lauderdale CF. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ plus community through the Forever Proud project. The USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forwardforever-proud. The USL supporting the LGBTQ plus community. Marshall Ruddy plays it back as Toronto 2 tries to get out of the attack in half. Goulburn give it back to Higgins. This has been a little bit clunky for Toronto 2, and there's the turnover. You could see that coming. Acosta finds Azcona, who turns, surveys. Back pass, well done. Beautiful movement, flag up. Well, the buildup was spectacular, but just a foot or two offside as Fort Lauderdale was trying to cook something up there. Problems in the back here from Higgins. You can see Acosta and Azcona. Look at that back pass. That was absolutely wonderful from Acosta. But it appeared as if Penn was offside, and now Toronto 2 returns the offside favor as McLaughlin was making a run on the long ball, but was well behind the defense. The previous two matches that have been played between these two sides, the possession battle was won by Toronto, including their first meeting where in the first half, Toronto held 70% possession. But so far in this opening half, it's been Fort Lauderdale that has won the possession battle, even though it was heavy Toronto 2 in the opening 5 minutes or so. Since that Josh Penn goal in the 9th minute, Fort Lauderdale has owned the possession advantage. Toronto 2, though, has looked as if it's going to be able to find some holes here in this Fort Lauderdale defense. There's a giveaway, though, and that's part of the reason why there haven't been many dangerous attacks on goal, for the exception of Goulburn's 20-yard attempt. Good ball forward. Can Penn get there? Oh, coming up was Vikla to take it off of Penn's foot. Andreas Vikla read that well. He committed himself to that ball, and now Toronto 2. Can McLaughlin get there? No, as Mabika shuts that down. We are end-to-end here early, as we suspected would be the case. Noah Allen plays himself into space. Neville, nifty pass to the midfield. That, though, unable to find the mark. Mitchell Curry making a run in behind the defense, never got there. Here's Julian Altobelli. Altobelli to the outside. Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy. Now Medius Susi. Back to Marshall Ruddy, who weaves his way and delivers it to the outside. Petrasso unable to deliver the cross. Instead, Marshall Ruddy possesses it once again. Yates to Goulburn. Goulburn playing right back tonight, but wants to push forward. Strong defensive play by Harvey Neville, and then he's fouled. Let's check out this long ball. As Kona was there, Vikla committed himself and was able to get a good read and extinguish the opportunity. Edison Ascona has been really active tonight for Fort Lauderdale, the 17-year-old. He has made 4 appearances for Inter Miami in MLS this season. You can see why. His work rate is high. In case you're just joining us and you're a Fort Lauderdale fan and you're wondering where Shan Hundal is, did not get the start tonight, but the leading goal scorer for Fort Lauderdale is available as a substitute for Darren Powell. Goulburn makes the turn, has some room. Nice ball forward, Altobelli! No, he puts it wide. He collected at a poor angle, but he also did have some goal to work with. Castanera was hesitant to come and make a play, did make himself big, and Altobelli put it well wide. We are expecting that we'll see Shan Hundal at some point tonight, back to the original point. But if this scoreline stays the same, or if Fort Lauderdale could pad a lead down the road, perhaps there's no need for Shan Hundal. Cloud cover here in Fort Lauderdale. South Florida has received a lot of rain over the last week and a half, so that's pretty par for the course for this time of year. The sky is blue, and it rains after 2 p.m. in South Florida. And there is rain in the forecast here tonight, though it's dry as we speak. Humidity around 80%. And winds out of the east at 15. You may be able to hear them in the background. As you join us here tonight on ESPN Plus, Ken Levicka with you in Fort Lauderdale, Drive Pink Stadium. And it's a 1-0 advantage for the home side after Josh Penn scored in the 9th minute with good individual play. Got a ball onto his left foot, was able to beat his defender and then beat Andreas Vikla. There's a foul called against Stephanie Yates. Ascona went for a ride, and a warning from referee John Mato. And that is Yates being a bit clunky. Nothing that was overly villainous about that, but the right call from John Mato, who has largely let things flow here tonight. On Wednesday night, Toronto 2 and Tormenta got real chippy in the second half. And in that match, in total, there were 7 yellows and a red shown. That red was given to Kobe Franklin of Toronto 2, who is suspended for tonight's match. Acosta Now maneuvering on the right side. Acosta has it once again. Acosta fires from distance, and he puts it over the bar as Kona standing to the top of the box wondering, why didn't you send it my way? You see that simply made the decision to turn and fire, much to the dismay of Ascona. There's a cross-field pass. Well done by Marshall Ruddy to control that. And Toronto 2 goes to work. Here's Yates. Yates working against Neville. Now McLaughlin sent on from behind. No whistle. Play on, says the referee. Marshall Ruddy dispossessed. One back by Fort Lauderdale. Ascona. He has it taken away by McLaughlin, and then Ascona commits the foul. McLaughlin spent a good portion of time on the natural surface over the last several moments. McLaughlin, a big forward, just over 6 feet, 180 pounds. He's a tall target, and that's why he leads Toronto 2 with goals with 4. He is opportunistic when he gets the ball on his foot or his head. It's been a while since Toronto 2 has shown to be any threat in the attack. Well, this is a good ball forward, knocked down by McLaughlin. Altabelli, right foot, sent it wide. But good body control from Altabelli. All started by good vision from McLaughlin. See a nice long ball forward, and eventually found the head of McLaughlin. And it sails wide by Altabelli. That was a good-looking attempt, however. Yates wins it back. Nice hustle here. Yates back heel to a black shirt. And Neville will push it forward. Evans wins that ball, and now here's Ascona. Ascona back to Evans. Those two get Fort Lauderdale off on the run. Here's a turn for Penn. And Penn has that knocked away. It'll be a Fort Lauderdale throw-in. Penn and Petrasso has been quite a battle on that far side. Penn got the better of Petrasso on the goal. Petrasso has done well, though, in subsequent matchups between the two. Here's Mabika. Now sent back to Neville. And now played forward. Here's a cross. Wanted Evans, but played away by Goulburn. Toronto 2 will try and work out of the back now. Goulburn saunters his way into the midfield. Finds Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy extremely active. Hooks a pass to the middle of the field. Room to work with. Couldn't find McLaughlin. And over to retrieve is Castanera. Tell you about the USL Game of the Week, 4th of July weekend. It starts with a bang when the USL on ESPN continues. Saturday, July 3rd, a Golden State clash. San Diego Loyal plays host to Sacramento Republic. That's Saturday, July 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN 2. Don't miss that one. Spend your 4th of July weekend the right way with San Diego and Sacramento. Marshall Ruddy wins the ball back in the midfield. Now Yates. Yates heads to his left and spreads it out wide. The cross is delivered, didn't find anybody. And Noah Allen to retrieve. And now a foul as Niall Higgins sent Mitchell Curry down. A bit late pushing the back there from Higgins. For the most part, this has been clean here in the opening 34 minutes. The goal scorer, Josh Penn. former Indy 11 man. Here's Mabika. Fort Lauderdale playing in close right now, trying to string some passes together, and Mabika will send it back for Hardin. The Fort Lauderdale captain pops it to Evans. Allen, good hustle to keep that in play and earn Fort Lauderdale a throw-in. Noah Allen, who grew up in South Florida, was previously part of amateur club Weston FC. Made 2 starts for Fort Lauderdale a year ago and now is a prominent portion of Darren Powell's plan on a match-to-match basis. 12 starts for Noah Allen here in 2021. Mabika plays it forward. One back by Toronto 2. Toronto 2 is starting to make plans to head back north of the border. It appears as if there is some hope that within the next couple of weeks, both Toronto FC and Toronto 2 can abandon their temporary Florida homes and head back to Toronto. This played towards McLaughlin. Didn't get there though. Played away by Neville. And Fort Lauderdale pushes it back to Evans, and now Noah Allen leads it up the left flank. Allen to Curry. Here's Curry. Maneuvers in from the left, lays it off for Allen, and it's played out by Higgins. Higgins was trying to shield Allen off the ball and made contact with his right foot, and it'll go for a Fort Lauderdale throw-in. Looks like Higgins might have panicked at the last moment, even though he clearly had Allen boxed out. Higgins has not looked comfortable at times here tonight, getting the start in the back four. Petrasso, Higgins, Pullitz, and Goulburn, the back line tonight for Toronto 2. Certainly have pushed forward significantly more than they did 72 hours ago in what resulted in a 3-1 victory over Tormenta. Toronto 2 has never won 3 straight, and they are trailing here in the first half. Here comes Acosta's corner, punched away by Vikla. Got good distance on that, kept in by Neville. Neville fires, and that's wide left once again. Well, Harvey Neville twice has decided to wind it up, and neither have been particularly close. Here you'll see Vikla's punch. Got good position. But you appreciate the youngster's confidence. Why not? Toronto 2 has fallen behind 1-0 in the previous 2 matches against Fort Lauderdale. Came back to draw and then win those 2 matches. What do they have in store here tonight? This is played long to Altabelli. He collects in the corner, and Altabelli earns his team a throw in the attacking third. Good hustle from Altabelli. Scored that second goal last Saturday in the 2-1 win over Fort Lauderdale, did Julian Altabelli. Toronto 2 would certainly like to have an extended spell of possession here. Asusi curls it off to the left. Good ball. Petrasso. A high cross. Marshall Ruddy played it down. Altabelli, a poor touch though. Couldn't get on his right foot. That was a great ball from Marshall Ruddy. Give it to Altabelli like a pillow, and Altabelli clunked it in the box. But Toronto 2 has had some ideas here tonight. But they trail 1-0. McLaughlin Had that pass intercepted away, fighting back for the ball, and he fouls Neville. You got to look at Ethan Harden, who now will possess the ball. Ethan's brother, his younger brother, Drew, was a key component to the Fort Lauderdale attack early in the season, but ended up picking up an injury and has not seen action since the second match of the season for Fort Lauderdale. He is available as a substitute tonight. Darren Powell telling us that Drew Harden has made good progress in his recovery. A foul is going to let Toronto 2 restart as we get late into this opening half from South Florida. Josh Penn, 9th minute, that's your difference. At halftime, we'll take a look at the goal-scoring fest we had in the 2 matches on Wednesday. Greenville and Ford Madison, and then Toronto 2 and Tormenta. Marshall Ruddy has that delivery intercepted. And now Fort Lauderdale back on the counter as Kona plays it forward. Curry was offside. And it rolls harmlessly to Andreas Feikla. Feikla, the Estonia man, has made 3 appearances for the Estonia national team. McLaughlin working hard to win that ball. Now Marshall Ruddy sends it long, headed down. Good hustle for this ball, but unable to keep it in play. Themi Antonoglu could not work around Mabika. Actually, that was Luca Petrasso, my apologies, and it was Mabika, though, who made Petrasso's life difficult, and those two acknowledged a bit of a hand tap as Petrasso raced back to his left back position. Ame Mabika played his collegiate soccer at Kentucky. Taken in the first round by Inter Miami in this past year's MLS Super Draft. They have high hopes for him with Inter Miami. He is a physical specimen. Had 10 goals, 62 appearances for Kentucky. This is given away in the midfield. Toronto 2 on the run. A shot just wide. Antonoglu nearly planted that with a left foot. Did it take a touch? It looks like it did. Themi Antonoglu puts his hand on head. He was allowed room to maneuver, and he had Castanera beat just off the mark. Jason Bucknor was playing off of Antonoglu and dared him to take the shot, and Antonoglu nearly made him pay. So as we hit the 42nd minute, it'll be Antonoglu to deliver the corner. An in-swinger coming. Punched away. Castanera read it well. Ascona always wants to run. And he was able to get around Asusi. Long ball forward. Feikla plays it awkwardly, and then a foul as Marshall Ruddy brought up a high boot, made contact with Curry. Now, Fort Lauderdale has the 1-0 advantage, but you certainly feel like Toronto 2 has a goal or two in it here tonight. Though unfortunately for Toronto 2, it feels like Fort Lauderdale has more scoring left in it as well. Toronto 2 plays out of the back. Goulburn. That pass was played away, but it falls to Altabelli. Toronto 2 has been playing its home matches in Kissimmee at Osceola Heritage Park. That's where they were at Wednesday night. That's where they defeated Fort Lauderdale 2-1 7 nights ago. We await an indication here about how much added time we're going to get in the first half. Can't imagine we're going to be playing much more than 45. Toronto FC 2 playing in Kissimmee after starting camp and its opening couple of home matches in Arizona to be closer to Toronto FC, which is playing its home matches at Exploria Stadium, home of Orlando City. And that's where Toronto FC in action tonight against Cincinnati. And that's why Jaden Nelson, Jake Singh, Ralph Priso not available for Toronto 2 there with the top team, though Singh not active tonight. So made the trip, stayed with the first team, but won't be playing for them. It was Singh who had the first goal in the win against Tormenta on Wednesday off the free kick. This is tracked back, shoveled by Politz to his keeper, Vikla. That got a little bit dicey. Acosta, now Neville, nice vision. Something building here for Fort Lauderdale potentially. Evans, can he split the defenders? No, Vikla slides in and tucks it into his chest. Goldberg collapsed well to make sure Evans couldn't get another touch on the ball. 1 minute of added time, so our suspicions were correct. There's not going to be much time left in this half. Antonoglu. Forward to Petrasso. His cross, wanted McLaughlin. Sliding Mabika, but it's going to be a corner for Toronto 2. You can see Marshall Ruddy is trying to, telling someone to go handle the corner, and Marshall Ruddy is told to deliver the corner, so we're heading towards last kick territory here. Toronto 2 looks like it'll have our final opportunity of the opening 45. Marshall Ruddy looks in. McLaughlin scored in added time last week against Fort Lauderdale. Here's the corner. It's sent low. McLaughlin put her off the bar. With his right foot, he nearly pushed it past Castanera, and that's how our first half ends. He put it off the bar. Garrett McLaughlin nearly had us level right before the death of the opening half. Well, it's been a wide open affair. We thought it was going to happen, and it has. Josh Penn in the 9th minute makes it Fort Lauderdale 1, Toronto FC 2-0. Halftime in Fort Lauderdale on ESPN+. Halftime back to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Toronto 2. Wednesday night, 2 matches in USL League One, plenty of goals. Let's take a look.
And we're off and running. It's Greenville and Madison here to begin the USL League One action this week. Again. Gets right by Abdi Mohammed, tackle from behind, and looks like we may have a PK call here, and indeed we do. Fires and puts it in right down the middle. And forward Madison with the lead against Greenville on the road, 1-0. Plays it to the top, Malloy strikes, it's in! And a brace just like that, 15 minutes on for the Irishman.
Aaron Malloy, what a strike.
Cabalanes to the end line, plays it over, it's flicked in! Greenville gets one back here in the 29th minute, and it seems to be Andrew Booth that got the touch. And yes, the kit is reversible black for the first half. Now we're into the pink in the second half. Polak, Morel tiptoeing the line very well, puts it in, headed up by Malloy. Polak fires off target, it's off Fuson,
Penalty.
And a penalty. A card as well on Fuson and a chance for the triumph.
Half-headed by Fernandez. And, well, you can definitely see the movement. Fuson lifted his arm.
Lomas fires, and we're all equal here in minute 68, his 8th of the season. 2-2. They both find a point. A 2-0 lead for Madison turns into an equal match at the end.
Toronto 2 and Tormenta, an hour and a half past scheduled kickoff, but able to get this underway. There's the whistle. Singh's going to take it, and he fires and scores! Luke Singh, perfect placement, and the breakthrough. Toronto 2 on top. This is played forward. Maples using his speed to get there. Delivers to Nelson, who deposits it into the back of the net. Got the lead in half. On the quick throw-in, Liati with the cross, and it's deposited home by Stefan Muller, his first goal of the year. Luke Singh and Jaden Nelson. And here's a turnover. Aviles gave it away. Jaden Nelson, he scores. It's a brace for Nelson. Pushed it into the corner. Tormenta able to retrieve. And a hard foul. And a straight red has been shown. Kobe Franklin has been sent off. Despite the bad news with the red, Toronto 2 goes on to a 3-1 victory over Tormenta. Halftime in Fort Lauderdale. Toronto 2, Fort Lauderdale after this.
I wasn't going to let anything get in my way of achieving my goals, which were to be a professional soccer player. So the first opportunity I got at preseason, when a teammate asked like if I was dating a girl or something, I just came out to a bunch of my teammates at dinner and said, no, I'm gay. All I needed to do was that one time, because then I didn't lie. Your sexuality should never limit you from playing the sport you love.
Off the crossbar and in. What an answer by San Diego. Oh, music in. Prairie brings it down to his chest. Jordan McCreary has tied it here. Takes a hard strike, saved by Romel Gomez.
Some news and some notes from USL League One. Juan Galindrez scored twice. Chattanooga, a come-from-behind victory on Sunday. How about the top of the table? Union Omaha sits at the top of the standings. The defending champs Greenville one behind, but Chattanooga is lurking. Juan Galindrez, the player of the week, as we mentioned, in Week 11. Toronto 2, well represented. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, Jaden Nelson both make the team of the week. Toronto picking up a 2-1 victory in Week 11 over this Fort Lauderdale team. We're seeing these two go at it again tonight. Union Omaha, Greenville, Chattanooga, top three teams in the table separated by just 2 points. And if the USL League One postseason started today, Fort Lauderdale and Toronto 2 are in. 4 matches tonight in USL League One. In addition to our Fort Lauderdale and Toronto 2 showdown, Chattanooga, Greenville 1-1, 67th minute. New England pounding North Texas 3-0. And the table leaders, Union Omaha, a 1-0 advantage over FC Tucson. Josh Penn is our goal scorer in the 9th minute as Fort Lauderdale leads Toronto 2 1-0 after 45 minutes. Back into our halftime show here on ESPN+. Let's look at some first half highlights. Josh Penn will be involved. See Mitchell Curry early trying to find Ethan Harden. He was offside, but that was the first sequence in a series of pressure from Fort Lauderdale. Here is Penn working against Petrasso. Look at the switch to the left foot and beats Andreas Vikla inside the far post. Second goal of the season for Josh Penn. And just 10 minutes in, it was 1-0 Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale wasn't done there. They have looked nifty at times on the attack. As you see the replay, Penn with the wide shot, you can fully appreciate some of the distance that was allowed to him, and he made Toronto 2 pay. But Toronto 2 would show some life. Alta Belli on a feed through from Goldburn, put it just wide. Castanera perhaps at the last moment into his vision. This was the final kick of the half off of the corner, and Garrett McLaughlin puts it off the bar. And that's where we stand after 45 minutes. Fort Lauderdale 1, Toronto 2-0. Here are the numbers. Toronto 2 wins the possession battle 56-44, fairly significant. 5 shots to 4, only 1 shot on goal, and that was Penn's tally in the 9th minute. Fort Lauderdale has been offside on 3 different occasions. So Fort Lauderdale is going to try and get the best of Toronto 2 for the first time this season. Toronto 2 trying to get themselves back into the match. Toronto 2 is going to be at Tormenta on Wednesday, 8 o'clock, while Fort Lauderdale next up at Tucson. That will be next Saturday. That'll be a 10 p.m. Eastern Time kick. Speaking of Tucson, they trail the USL League One leaders Union Omaha 1-0 in the 31st minute. We saw some of those scores at halftime. What an attractive battle in Chattanooga between Red Wolves and Greenville, the defending champions, able to muster a draw against Forward Madison on Wednesday. Greenville has scuffled by their standards as of late. Chattanooga certainly a team on the rise, and predictably that one is real tight there in Chattanooga. And North Texas, what has happened to Eric Quill's side? They cannot find much in terms of consistency. North Texas getting blasted right now at New England 2. That is a 3-0 scoreline in the 74th minute. Here at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, it's 1-0 to the hosts. Ken Levicka with you. So glad that you're hanging out with us on a Saturday evening, an overcast Saturday evening here in South Florida. Toronto 2 looking for a 3rd straight victory. They ended Tormenta's 4-game winning streak back on Wednesday. Now Fort Lauderdale trying to hand Toronto a similar fate. Our referee John Mato getting some final instruction from the touchline. And we'll see who's going to make a move first from the bench. Will it be Mike Munoz on the Toronto 2 side, or Darren Powell for Fort Lauderdale? And we are missing a player on the pitch right now. We have only 10 men on the field right now for Fort Lauderdale. You can see Josh Penn at the bottom of your screen putting his palms up saying, what's happening? Where's our guy? And our referee, John Mato, wondering the same thing. It's Edison Escona who is not out there. We can speculate as to why. Perhaps a late bathroom trip or a last-minute tape job. So Edison Escona is the only thing standing between us and John Mato's whistle. And there he comes. He has a shoe untied, but he's here. And we are underway in the second half. 1-0 Fort Lauderdale. And now Toronto 2 will try to go to work. No substitutions at the half for either side. Here's Altobelli. Altobelli lurches forward. And Toronto 2 works out of this 4-4-2. Short range Goldburn. Nice ball onto the right foot of Marshall Ruddy. He delivers. Altobelli muffed it. Altobelli fed perfectly again, and he could not get a good foot on it. And it trickled wide. Marshall Ruddy put it right on the right foot of Altobelli. You could see his weight had shifted back, and he did not strike it well. And his head went right into his hands because he knew. But a good start for Toronto 2. Antonoglu plays it back to Petrasso. And then Antonoglu hands Fort Lauderdale a throw-in. Mike Munoz in his first year as the boss of Toronto 2. Technically, it should have been 2 seasons, his second season, but Toronto 2 didn't play in 2020. But Munoz, a ton of experience, 6 years with LA Galaxy. Coached their U14, U16, U18s, LA Galaxy 2, was the academy director. Prior to that, an assistant coach with Chivas USA and MLS, played for Chivas USA and LA Galaxy and California Victory in the USL. He is a steady presence and as pure a soccer teacher as you're going to find. This is played back by Mabika. And a touch under the feet of Castanera. I mentioned earlier Castanera was drafted by FC Dallas 4th round 2019 MLS Super Draft. His MLS rights were traded to Inter Miami in January of this year. And Inter Miami sent back to FC Dallas a 4th round pick. Castanera was with Atlanta United 2 in 2019. Here's Toronto 2 with Petrasso. Petrasso looks in. Tried to dump it off short. And Antonoglu fell down to the edge of the area. That's going to send Azcona on the run. Azcona races into the area. Azcona on his left foot. Oh, what a save. Point blank. Vikla got his hands up, punched it into the air. Vikla made himself big, made Azcona think about it, and well handled. Azcona had a ton of space to work with, but Vikla, textbook, put himself out onto the edge of the 6-yard box and made Azcona choose a side. Azcona instead put it right at the keeper. Meanwhile, that was not the best defensive showing for Toronto 2, as Polic and Goulburn were absolutely split by Azcona. Toronto 2 survives that drill trail by only a tally. Altobelli. Altobelli, nice move around his man. Altobelli, that trickles towards goal, and diving is Castanera to corral it. That was not destined for goal, but Castanera gives Fort Lauderdale possession. But more questions being asked by Toronto 2. Altobelli doing some work up that left side. Here's a foul. As Yates made contact with Bucknor. And we're going to see our first yellow of the match, and it's delivered to Stephanie Yates. So Yates in the 50th minute is shown a yellow card. And Bucknor is clutching at his right leg. Let's get a look here at the contact. Bucknor heavy touch, and it looked like it was a possible knee-to-knee hit between Yates and Bucknor took the worst of it. And here comes the Fort Lauderdale training staff. So Yates is in the book. That's the first card tonight for either side. And we mentioned multiple times how clean the first half was. And in the opening 5 minutes, we have a booking. They are looking at that right leg of Jason Bucknor. This is his first start of the year for Fort Lauderdale. He's come out of the Inter Miami Academy, made 11 appearances for Fort Lauderdale last year. Had one start of those 11 appearances. And as they work out Bucknor, this will give us an opportunity to tell you about what's good on Sirius XM, because if you're on the road and you can't watch the match, well, turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh and the brand new USL All Access featuring Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I've heard the show. It's wonderful. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM FC Channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. Now Bucknor is up, and he's trying to put some weight on his knee. And he's going to hobble over to the near touchline as you get a look at Drive Pink Stadium and its surroundings, former site of Lockhart Stadium. Lockhart Stadium was a soccer mecca in South Florida, former home of the first iteration of MLS in South Florida, Miami Fusion, longtime home of the legendary Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Also was the longtime home stadium of Florida Atlantic football. That program founded in 2001 under Howard Schnellenberger and housed FAU from 2001 to 2010. The Drive Pink Stadium built right on the same site. Much bigger, much more state-of-the-art. So now we're back underway, and here's a giveaway. And here's Yates chasing. Mabika couldn't cut him off. Yates with the left-footed cross. And that's tucked away and played out of trouble. It was nicely read by George Acosta. And Toronto 2 wins it right back. Toronto 2 pressing well here. Altabelli, right foot, put it wide. Castanera positioned himself well. Altabelli has not been able to put any of his 4 shots tonight on target. That one was from distance, but he has had some close-in looks. He has not been able to put a good foot on. But he's making himself useful. Without question, he has looked dangerous. Here's Petrasso for Toronto 2. This ball played forward. Goulburn couldn't get a foot on it. When he puts his thumb up, says very good ball, and it was by Petrasso. And Fort Lauderdale will have Castanera launch it away. Well, we are not going to see Jason Bucknor back in this match. That knee injury proving too much for him to overcome, so it's Ignacio Poplawski who will take over for Bucknor at left back. So Poplawski making his 13th appearance of the season for Fort Lauderdale. A turnover. Goulburn couldn't make that. Marshall Ruddy couldn't hand that at the edge of the area. Looked like there might be something brewing there for Toronto too, but Marshall Ruddy couldn't find the ball. Poplawski, the Argentinian, enters the fray here for Fort Lauderdale. Marshall Ruddy dispossessed. Pushed out of play by Allen. It went off of Marshall Ruddy. And he's not happy with the decision of the side referee. So Acosta's going to send a long ball forward. And it finds Penn. Penn runs in on Vikla. Penn holds up outside the area. Now comes to his right foot. Penn is denied by Vikla. It'll be a Fort Lauderdale corner. Let's look at this footwork from Penn. Got onto his right foot. Vikla able to make a leg save. Had his hand there as well. Penn has had Vikla on his toes a good portion of the evening. And Fort Lauderdale will have Noah Allen handle this corner. First time in this second half that we'll have seen Fort Lauderdale in the attacking third. Allen sends it short. Played by Oscona. He'll turn and roll one into the box, and it's knocked out of play, and another corner coming for Fort Lauderdale's Altabelli sent it into the seats. So our first substitution goes to Fort Lauderdale due to injury. Ignacio Poplowski takes Jason Bucknor off. Allen will give his left foot another go at this. Here's the corner. To the top of the area, headed down. No one able to get a foot on it. After Mabika headed it into the area. This is going to be popped on a hop right to Vikla. And Vikla will distribute. And Yates on the move. Stephen Yates into the midfield for Toronto 2. Now Petrasso. So far, Josh Penn's 9th minute goal has stood up as Fort Lauderdale leads Toronto 2 1-0. Marshall Ruddy. Nice back heel pass, Petrasso. It finds him. Petrasso sends it into some space. And a foul. Marshall Ruddy was taken down. I believe that was Penn who nicked Marshall Ruddy on the heel. So a free kick coming. Too much distance here to give this a go at goal. And Toniglu and Marshall Ruddy are going to discuss who's going to take this. Petrasso spreads himself off to the left. Marshall Ruddy standing over it now. It'll be Antoniglu to loft it in. Back post! A touch over the bar. It found McLaughlin, but he couldn't control it. What a well-weighted free kick from Antoniglu. I mean, this is perfection. And it was Ethan Harden who made a bit of contact with McLaughlin. May have altered the run just a bit to throw off the timing and have McLaughlin off balance as he put it over the top of the goal. But Toronto 2, quick restart here. Altabelli. Petrasso now, Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy, here's his cross. And contact in the box. And then it's sent out of play. Castanera hit McLaughlin hard from behind as they fought for that ball. McLaughlin is not happy. And you'll see the contact here. McLaughlin took a shot right to the back of the head. And it certainly looked like the ball got there first, with McLaughlin making contact first, and then he took the blow from behind. So McLaughlin's going to come off. United Soccer League, all 12 League One clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. For more information on the USL's commitment to change through the United Against Racism campaign, visit uslsoccer.com. USL, United Against Racism. It looks like we see McLaughlin back on the pitch, and there he is. Neville couldn't find the mark, was looking for Penn, and Toronto 2 wins the ball back. Niall Higgins, long ball forward There is a lot of space to work with. Fort Lauderdale, certainly defensively, their plan, there is real estate to try and create. But they have done well to close down Toronto 2 when it comes to the moment of truth in the attack. Can Toronto 2 find a goal, or can Fort Lauderdale find a cushion? Here's Petrasso. Delivers it back to Politz. Floated to Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy surveys. Here's his cross. Headed! Knocked away! Castanera denies McLaughlin. Castanera equal to the task. McLaughlin was unmarked. Goldberg delivers. McLaughlin knocked on. McLaughlin's header right at Castanera. Back-to-back shots on goal, and Castanera has an answer both times. This was a wonderful save from Dylan Castanera. McLaughlin's going to put pressure on Castanera's delivery, and it's won right back by Toronto 2. Toronto 2 is absolutely dominating possession here in this second half. They did in the first half as well, but they still are behind on the score line. This is rolled to McLaughlin. Now Goulburn. McLaughlin taken down from behind, and a free kick coming from a dangerous area. This will come from a similar area to where Singh scored against Tormento Wednesday night for Toronto 2. Marshall Ruddy is over there. Goulburn is over there for Toronto 2. Goulburn had a shot from distance during run of play in the first half that just went over the goal. And you also have Antoniglo. 64th minute, Toronto 2 with the most dangerous free kick either team has had tonight. Antoniglu. Castanera knocks it away, ranging to his left. Here you see the shot from Antoniglu, and that was a much-needed sprawl to keep that out of the back of the net. Toronto 2 continuing to put on the pressure. Here's a corner. In swinger, McLaughlin put it wide. He was unmarked. What does Toronto 2 have to do to find a goal? That a squandered opportunity. There was nobody within 5 yards of McLaughlin. He was by himself at the top of the six and could not find the accuracy. And now we have a substitution for Fort Lauderdale. Nahib is about to take Fenton Evans off. Evans, who has not had a single touch in this second half. Braxton Nahib, the 18-year-old. And actually, Evans is going to stay in. That'll be Azcona, who comes off in the 66th minute. So Braxton Nahib for Edison Azcona. Nahib makes appearance number 8 for Darren Powell here in 2021. Fort Lauderdale would love to find a cushion. Acosta just gave that right up to Goulburn. This has been fairly ragged for Fort Lauderdale with the ball. And there have not been many times they've actually had the ball here in the opening 20 minutes of the second half. Petrasso, not his finest moment on the ball, and Fort Lauderdale makes its way into the midfield, but once again gives up possession immediately. Yates moves in. A turn from Altabelli. That was wonderful. Back to Yates. Yates. Now Marshall Ruddy. A lot of 1 and 2 touches here Goulburn delivers. It's in the area. We have a point to the spot. We have a penalty on the way. Toronto 2 is going to have a chance to equalize. Ame Mabika came right over the top of McLaughlin. That was an easy call for John Mato. It happened right in front of him. And Dylan Castanera, who has done the job all night for Fort Lauderdale in goal, this is going to be his most pressure-packed moment. Toronto 2's leading goal scorer will look to pull things even in minute number 68. McLaughlin has his 5th goal of the season, and he has Toronto 2's first goal of the evening. We are level in the 68th minute. McLaughlin nice and easy. Castanera guessed the wrong way. It wouldn't have mattered. Perfectly placed with power. Garrett McLaughlin makes it Toronto 2-1, Fort Lauderdale 1. Mabika was not shown a card after that foul in the box. That was the right decision, well called, well refereed by John Mato, and then the penalty well taken by McLaughlin. So it's a new match. We're all even, 1-1. So in all 3 matches this year between these two sides, it's been Fort Lauderdale that scores first, and then Toronto that finds a way to come back. So the Josh Penn goal is nullified. And we're on even terms once again, and a push in the back. And this foul is against Ignacio Poplawski. Fort Lauderdale has our 2 substitutions tonight. First it was Poplawski that came in for Bucknor, and then Nahib took off as Kona. And now Toronto 2 can look for more. They've still got 3 road points on their mind. And perhaps something brewing here. Altabelli pushes it forward. Goulburn tried to cross, and he put it off his toe and sailed it. You could see the frustration after he struck it, threw his arms to the heavens. Dylan Castanera, though he couldn't save the penalty, he has been wonderful tonight, because this second half could have been a lot worse for Fort Lauderdale if not for him and some of his acrobatics in goal. His defense has been under siege the entire half. This played forward on the left foot. Now Altabelli had a shot blocked after Antonoglu fed him. Some desperate defending happening right now for Fort Lauderdale. And Toronto 2 is just coming in waves. Fort Lauderdale has not had an extended spell of possession this entire half. That needs to change at some point. Antonoglu turned into traffic. Altabelli has a ton of room to operate. Marshall Ruddy, right foot, took a deflection, out of play, corner coming, Toronto 2. Not sure if Marshall Ruddy was trying to curl a shot towards goal or find McLaughlin, who's always active, and was making a run to the far post. Antonoglu is going to take his time over into the corner, and why not? See if you can take as much time off the clock as you can and also continue to threaten goal. Antoniglu's corner. It's low. It's touched on. It rolls around, and it's cleared away. But it's kept in. Now a long shot, Goulburn. That never got through. Now another attempt is taken wide. Toronto, too, is relentless right now. Castanera sees nothing but white shirts coming his way. That was blasted by Politz. Well out of play. And another Toronto giveaway. Marshall Ruddy. Marshall Ruddy into the area. Marshall Ruddy on his right foot. And Mabika did well there to dispossess Marshall Ruddy. A rare weak moment on the ball for the 17-year-old, who has been wonderful tonight for Toronto, too. He's on loan from the First Division club, Toronto FC. Marshall Ruddy, the youngest ever player to debut for Toronto FC. That was last season at 16 years of age. He has tons of talent, oozes ability. Goulburn maintained possession. Antoniglu turned it over for Lauderdale on the run. It's Curry. Mitchell Curry runs in. Mitchell Curry, bad angle shot, knocked away, rebound. Acosta couldn't get there. Vikla forced to make a save on the counter. Curry did it all by himself and puts the shot on goal. Vikla able to camp himself out on the near post. And now Toronto 2. Altabelli, a lot of green grass in front of him. Marshall Ruddy plays it through. Petrasso can't get it to McLaughlin. And it's a goal kick for Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is about to make a substitution, and a substitution that they desperately need because there is no offense. For the exception of Curry on the counter moments ago, Shan Hoondahl is going to come in. Is Hoondahl going to come on for Evans, Curry, or Penn? That'll be the question. Penn, the goal scorer for Fort Lauderdale in the 9th minute. There is Hoondahl. That's played back to Castanera, and we're going to have to wait for Hoondahl. There's a whistle. And now I believe Hoondahl is going to have his opportunity to substitute in. And he's been given the go-ahead. And it's actually George Acosta who's coming off. So Hoondahl's going to come out of the midfield here. As Fort Lauderdale's best offensive weapons will stay in the game. Penn, Curry, Evans, Hoondahl all on here at the same time. The 21-year-old Canadian and the leading goal scorer for Fort Lauderdale is on. Hoondahl, who was tied for second in USL League One with 5 goals, has just had being tied for second in USL League One. That club's been joined by Garrett McLaughlin, who converted the penalty for Toronto 2 to even this up. Fenton Evans. Mabika. Now to Evans, who was on the left side of the field. Now he's on the right side. Trying to feed it through as Poplowski wanted Evans. That's picked off, but already with Hoondahl on, you can see a little bit more assertiveness on the attack. Nifty moves from the referee to avoid the ball. And look at Marshall Ruddy. He is on. Marshall Ruddy moves in on Mabika, and then Mabika shielded him well. That was a nice defensive play from Ame Mabika, doing the job and doing it well. For the W, the USL recently announced the formation of the USLW League, providing increased equity and opportunity for women looking to pursue careers in soccer, both on and off the pitch. Comprised of clubs from across the championship, League One, League Two, and new expansion markets, the W League is set to begin play in 2022 in more than 30 communities across the United States. Head over to USLWleague.com to learn more. Neville moves in. Neville, the cross, finds no one. And Goulburn retrieves for Toronto 2. But we're starting to see a pulse here from this Fort Lauderdale attack. We have not seen it since halftime. It's been all Toronto 2. And this 1-1 scoreline is a bit deceiving because Toronto 2 has had some glorious opportunities, but Dylan Castanera has been fantastic in goal for Fort Lauderdale. Playing out of the back, Niall Higgins to Goulburn. The goal scorer, McLaughlin. And the build-up grows for Toronto FC 2. Marshall, Ruddy, and Petrasso go 1-2. Now a delivery into the area. It's loose! Castanera was nowhere to be found as he had come out to play that ball. McLaughlin got taken down in the box. And McLaughlin is injured, and on comes the training staff. There was a collision with Ethan Harden, and McLaughlin got the worst of it. And the rain is falling, and it is heavy here in South Florida. We anticipated this might happen last Wednesday here in Fort Lauderdale when these two teams met. It poured incessantly. It was constant. All 90 was full rain. Toronto 2 on Wednesday in their home match against Tormenta in Kissimmee had the match delayed 90 minutes because of lightning, and the pitch was soaked. There were puddles on the pitch through moments of that match. McLaughlin is up. It looks like Toronto 2 is going to the bench. It'll be Kosi Thompson coming on. Kosi Thompson is going to make it a night for Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. Marshall-Ruddy put in a lot of effort, a lot of work tonight. There you see Kosi Thompson. Toronto right now, if this scoreline holds, will earn a point on the road. And they still have an opportunity for 3. So Marshall-Ruddy, a well-deserved rest. Kosi Thompson is on. And here we go into the 80th minute. Petrasso's going to handle the attacking third throw, and McLaughlin is off after having to receive some medical treatment. As this is played back in, the referee will determine when he's allowed back on. And a free kick awarded to Toronto 2. McLaughlin back on. And a key moment here in this match. Toronto 2. He's given a free kick in the attacking third. About 16 yards from goal. And Tonaglu stands over it. There's Altabelli as well. It's going to be Altabelli. Rolls into the top of the area. Left foot! Castanera equal to the task. Petrasso put it on goal. Goulburn crosses. McLaughlin denied. It rolls around in the area. Back heel just wide. My goodness. Niall Higgins was just off the post with that back heel. There's the first save from Castanera. Goulburn. McLaughlin couldn't find it for a moment. Castanera denied him again, and then Higgins almost put that home. That's as gorgeous a miss as you're ever going to see from Niall Higgins. And after all of that, it remains 1-1. Antonio Carlini looks like he's taken off the warm-ups, and I believe Antonio Carlini is going to come on for Toronto 2 here momentarily. Here's Neville for Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale, a rare occurrence on the attack in this second half. To Evans. Fenton Evans floats it. Far post, couldn't find Penn. Headed away, kept in by Fort Lauderdale. We believe the substitution is going to be Carlini for McLaughlin for Toronto 2 when it actually occurs. Level at 1. Can Fort Lauderdale finally grow into the attack, albeit late here? But it's turned over. And now a long ball forward, and McLaughlin is on. McLaughlin working against Harden. McLaughlin feeds it short. Goldberg, did he get tripped up in the area? The referee says no, play on. And Fort Lauderdale says we will. Noah Allen. This is wide open. This game is wide open, and Evans using the speed. Evans in on Niall Higgins. Here's Fenton Evans onto his right foot. Still possesses in the box. Plays it back. Allen pushes it into the box. Played away. Kept in by Fort Lauderdale. Dangerous moments here for Toronto 2. There's exhaustion on this pitch right now. Nahib back to Allen. Toronto 2 needs to get that substitution on. They need a stoppage in play, more importantly. Mabika gives it away. It was actually Curry who gave it away, and then a grab of the shirt from behind, and a foul is called. And Curry, who turned it over, then committed the foul, is shown yellow, and deservedly so. So Fort Lauderdale booked for the first time tonight, and it's given to the Englishman, Mitchell Curry. And that will allow Antonio Carlini to come in for Garrett McLaughlin. So Carlini comes on. He got the start against Tormenta Wednesday. He's a sub tonight. And we'll see who Campbell's going to come in for. Dante Campbell, who was a sub against Tormenta. Campbell's actually the one taking McLaughlin off. And Tonaglu is the other player. That's night is done. So Carlini and Campbell come on. McLaughlin, the goal scorer, is done for the evening. So Mitchell Curry, the first yellow shown to Fort Lauderdale tonight. And here's the opening touch for Kosi Thompson. First time we've really seen him up that left flank. Now Stephanie Yates, as Toronto 2, after weathering that brief Fort Lauderdale storm, looks for more. Petrasso plays it into Thompson. Thompson, good ball through. On the right foot of Carlini. Carlini couldn't turn and fire, though, and has to defer with a back pass. 86th minute. Goulburn, good ball. Petrasso can't get there. We're going to get one more look at this. Mitchell Curry yellow. This was off of his turnover. And he tugged the shirt from behind, and that was the immediate reach to the pocket for Mato, John Mato, our referee. There was no debate. Curry knew it, put his head down, and took the booking. Now, these two teams have put together 3 wildly entertaining matches in the last 10 days. Toronto 2, by the way, is in the midst of a 35-day span where it's played 11 matches, and they play again on Wednesday. This has been an absolute grind of an open of the season for Toronto 2, one of the final teams to actually start its 2021 campaign with a staggered scheduling. And they opened everything in Arizona with camp and then their first couple of games before setting up shop in Kissimmee. But it looks like the plan is for Toronto 2 to return home and play a home game in Toronto July 9th against New England 2. If that can't happen, then the alternative plan is to go back following their game against New England 2 and then head to Toronto and remain there. Regardless, it seems like the preparations are being made for Toronto FC and Toronto 2 to go back home to Canada in the next couple of weeks. July 9th, appearing as if for Toronto 2, that's the target date. Here's Neville. Harvey Neville pushes it to the outside for Penn. Josh Penn surveys. Josh Penn moves in. Josh Penn delivers top of the box. Shot wide. Neville couldn't find the goal. Vikla watched it sail past. And the best opportunity of the second half for Fort Lauderdale goes to waste. We should see a decent amount of added time. And that brings a little extra layer of drama to the proceedings. It has been back and forth. Kosi Thompson. Now Yates. And an exhausted Yates fires it out of play. Do either of these teams have the legs to find a goal, find a winner, find 3 points on the table, or is this destined for a 1-1 draw? We will know soon. Curry. This is played through. Penn! It's loose and it's in! Fort Lauderdale has the lead! It's poked home by Mitchell Curry! Fort Lauderdale may have just found the win. Vikla got a hand on it. Curry was onside. Just tapped it home. And Fort Lauderdale has had so much trouble finding possession in the second half. They may have just found a winner. It's the third goal of the season for Curry. Fort Lauderdale 2, Toronto 2-1. And you can see the Toronto 2 sideline and Mike Munoz furious because they believed that Curry was offside. But it took a touch off the keeper. Vikla got a hand on it. He made a save on Penn. So now Toronto 2 with so many opportunities to first draw level before they finally got the McLaughlin penalty. And then several opportunities to take the lead, find themselves trailing. Thanks to Mitchell Curry's third goal of the season. Six additional minutes here in Fort Lauderdale. We've almost expired the first of those 6 additional minutes. So there's time for Toronto 2 if they have the legs to do it. Here's Venton Evans. He's just going to dribble to the right of the area. Cross right into Vikla, and Vikla says, let's go, let's run. And here comes Toronto 2. Leading the charge, Dante Campbell. Now to Antonio Carlini. Antonio Carlini heads to his left. Plenty of time here for Toronto, too, to organize an attack. This is played in. Yates to Kosi Thompson. Delivery, no. It falls to the feet of Yates, who fell down, and it's cleared away. Now Hundal. Is something brewing here for Fort Lauderdale? Hundal maintains possession. Leapt in the air to get by his man. Mitchell Curry. His cross, and it's knocked away by Goulburn. Man, that was a wild sequence. Yates, who's played all 93 minutes. And now a long ball forward. Making the run, Thompson never got to him. Carlini popped it into the air, make that Alta belly, and a yellow is shown. It's Braxton Nahib. And now a direct free kick coming for Toronto, too. As if there couldn't be any more drama in the late stages. Toronto, too, has a direct free kick from about 25 yards. So Nahib with the yellow. Curry got shown a yellow earlier for Fort Lauderdale. It looks like Yates is there and Carlini is there. As Toronto, too, looks to steal a point on the table. This is played to Carlini, across, knocked away. Petrasso plays it back in, high into the air, knocked down. An awkward clearance. Here's Yates onto his right foot. Defenders flying at him. Lifted into the air. Petrasso save. Castanera. And now we have an injury. And there is a Fort Lauderdale player in a lot of pain. We'll try and see what happened there. Goulburn lifts it, headed, and saved. That was Politz with the header. And we're trying to determine who that is, who the injured Fort Lauderdale player is, right in the mouth of goal. And we are going to see what happened here. Oh, man, that is Venton Evans, who got his cleat stuck in the turf sliding. And you obviously think the worst in a spot like that. He got his cleat caught in the turf. You could hear him screaming from the turf. And that's what drew the referee over and the immediate call for medical attention. It certainly looked like that leg took an awkward twist. Yeah, that was not anything to do with contact with another player, and it was a twisting injury that's been suffered. You see Noah Allen over there to try and help talk Evans through the pain. Fort Lauderdale, the 2-1 advantage as nightfall is descended upon South Florida. Drive Pink Stadium. Ken Levicka with you. Venton Evans is the injured Fort Lauderdale player. The Jamaican looked as if defending goal. He got his cleat caught in the turf while sliding. And we have a stretcher being brought out. The board has been brought out. He's not going to be able to come off under his own power. We don't believe. He's up and sitting. We have gone past the allotted added time. There will obviously be more time added on by our referee, John Motto, who has done a superb job tonight. So Evans is up. He's trying to apply pressure to the affected leg. And he wants to come off as close to under his own power as he can. So Evans is going to hobble off with assistance, but waves off the board. And we're getting an indication that there are likely going to be 2 minutes or so added on to the 7 additional we've already played. Fort Lauderdale trying to see this through. The late goal from Mitchell Curry is the difference. And that ball is immediately won by Toronto 2, and Higgins delivers a long ball forward. And this is going to roll out of play. Carlini could not get there. Well, Toronto 2 is going to rue several point-blank chances that it either did not get a good foot on or they put in the vicinity of the goalkeeper, Dylan Costanera. Costanera did have a couple of saves where he had to sprawl and make diving stops, but there were a couple of attempts, a couple of opportunities from point blank that Toronto 2 just did not make difficult enough for the goalkeeper. There have been plenty of opportunities for Toronto 2 to break through this evening. And the only tally, a Garrett McLaughlin penalty conversion. Altabelli. Here's a cross. Higgins knocked it down. Kosi Thompson onto his left foot. It's blocked down. Petrasso, he'll punch it in. That's headed away by Fort Lauderdale, and Penn cleared it away. And now this is volleyed across the touchline by Hundal. We may see our final attempt at an attack here for Toronto 2. Getting late. Petrasso plays it back. Politz. Now Yates. Off to the right. And fired back by Fort Lauderdale. That might be it. And there it is. Final whistle. John Motto says this one has come to a conclusion. Toronto 2 very much on the front foot in the second half, but it's Fort Lauderdale, thanks to Mitchell Curry's late tally, that picks up all 3 points. Fort Lauderdale 2, Toronto 2, 1. That's your final tonight. The goals for Josh Penn and Mitchell Curry, and not enough for Fort Lauderdale as they beat Toronto 2 for the first time this season. Post-game from Fort Lauderdale after this on ESPN+. Fort Lauderdale, the 2-1 victory over Toronto 2. A wild, wide open affair in USL League One here on a Saturday night from South Florida. This one did not disappoint, and we'll take a glance at some of the highlights. There were plenty of them. This was an explosive match at times, and it was Fort Lauderdale that got the scoring started with Josh Penn. Here you see Penn in space, left foot, able to sneak it past Andreas Vikla. And for the second time in 7 days, Penn had a goal against Toronto 2 within the first 10 minutes of a match. Last Saturday came in the 4th minute. Tonight, it came in minute number 9. But there would be an equalizer. The foul committed by Ame Mabika on Garrett McLaughlin. And McLaughlin would nice and easy convert the penalty. And in the second half, Toronto 2 had very deservedly drawn level at 1-1. The goal scoring wasn't done, though. Toronto 2 had dominated possession in the second half, but Fort Lauderdale, all they needed was a bit of an opening. Played through perfectly. Penn denied, but the tip-in from Curry. And that's enough as Fort Lauderdale picks up the 2-1 victory. And they pick up only their second victory in 7 matches. But well-deserved for Fort Lauderdale, whose desperate defending was able to earn them an opportunity, and Curry was able to take advantage. 56% possession for Toronto 2, 25 shots, but it's Fort Lauderdale more efficient. Those 2 shots on goal, 2 goals, and that was enough. Want to thank Brian Sevilla, the entire production staff. Outstanding work tonight. A wild affair from South Florida as Fort Lauderdale gets the 2-1 victory over Toronto 2. I'm Ken Levica. This has been USL League One on ESPN+. Have a great weekend. Fort Lauderdale beats Toronto 2.